what is the tribulation? In harmony with the theological interpretations expressed in the popular Left Behind series, many people today have an understanding of the end times that goes something like this. First, life on earth will go along much as it has for generations, although there may be gradual increases in Christian persecution. Second, at some point, the whole world is going to be taken by surprise. Jesus will secretly return in an event known as the rapture. And although unbelievers will not see Jesus, they will immediately see the effects of this rapture because thousands, perhaps even millions of people, that is true born-again believers, will mysteriously vanish. Third, with the removal of all Christians, the devil will take advantage of the opportunity to place his pawns into positions of world leadership. Fourth, depending on your particular flavor of eschatology, either at that point or within just a few years, an intense time of persecution will begin against any and all who turn to Christ after the rapture. And this time of intense persecution is known as the Great Tribulation. And then fifth, following another handful of years, Jesus will come again to rescue persecuted believers and to defeat the devil and his followers. And this is known as the second coming of Christ. Well, as I stated back in episode 3, this general interpretation of last times is relatively recent, beginning in seed form less than 200 years ago, and then being built upon and expanded to its current forms throughout the 1900s. Although I myself was taught this very approach to eschatology, in my own further study I found sufficient reason to question this interpretation, and I can no longer accept this as valid. To work within my 7-minute window, let me just address two issues today. First, because of my current understanding of the return of Jesus, some have accused me of not believing in the rapture. In 1 Thessalonians 4 we read, "We who are alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a cry of command, with the voice of an archangel, and with the sound of the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive, who are left, will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so we will always be with the Lord." Verse 17 says some will be caught up. The old Latin translation of this verse uses the word rapturo. The Greek word it translates, harpazo, means to snatch or to take away. And although the term rapture does not occur anywhere in any of our English Bibles, the Bible certainly teaches that certain believers will be caught up to meet the Lord in the air. Do I believe that? Absolutely. The question isn't whether or not I believe, the question is one of timing. Some believe that there will be a secret rapture that will occur before Jesus comes back for the second coming. Others, like me, believe that there is only one second coming, and that when Jesus does come, then we who are alive will be caught up to meet the Lord in the air. That's when the rapture occurs. It's the same thing as the second coming. So, I do believe in the rapture. Second, what is the tribulation? The word tribulation is translated from the Greek word thlipsis, which can mean distressing circumstances, trial, affliction, distress, tribulation, or trouble. When this word is used with a definite article, as in the tribulation, it certainly suggests something far more specific than just general hardship. However, in almost every usage in the New Testament, it is used without a definite article. For example, Jesus said, "In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." In Romans chapter 5, Paul wrote, "We rejoice in our sufferings." Thlipsis is that same Greek word. Knowing that suffering, that same word, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame. The truth is that tribulations are an expected aspect of living the Christian life while in this world. We could rightly say that the time of tribulations began for Christians at the cross. The apostle experienced tribulation. First century Christians experienced tribulation. Acts 11:19 says, "Now those who were scattered because of the persecution," and the word is thlipsis, this same word that can be translated as tribulation, The persecution that arose over Stephen traveled as far as Phoenicia, etc., etc. The verse goes on. The point is, they were already experiencing tribulation. But is a more intense time of persecution coming? To some degree, that depends on who you are and where you are. Tradition tells us that every apostle except John was martyred for their faith. Can it be more intense than that? A walk through history will reveal that persecution of Christians has persisted for 2,000 years. Statistically, the 20th century alone saw more Christians killed for their faith than the previous 1900 years collectively. Research indicates that 260 million Christians worldwide are currently suffering high to severe levels of persecution. If you were to ask these if a more intense time of tribulation is coming, they may just say, how can it get any worse? Nonetheless, God does reveal that immediately prior to the second coming, persecution will be at its worst. Mark chapter 13, verse 19, we read, Jesus said, in those days there will be such tribulation as has not been from the beginning of the creation that God created until now, and never will be. I do believe that there will be unprecedented persecution at the very end. But as for the identification of the tribulation period, it is probably accurate to say that we are in the tribulation. It is worse in some parts of the world than others, but anywhere a brother or sister in Christ is being mistreated, abused, attacked, or killed because of their faith in Jesus Christ, the tribulation is real, and the need of comfort for the Christian family is pressing. Revelation was written to provide hope and encouragement for just such circumstances. Let me conclude with Jesus' words to the church in Smyrna. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the slander of those who say that they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you may be tested, and for 10 days you will have tribulation. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. The one who conquers will not be hurt by the second death.